I mean, that was a bar. Like,
hey, they look good, but he don't trust.
all right, it's no secret that our colleague Randy Moss had game on the field that, as he would say, was straight cash, homie. Moss led the league in receiving touchdowns 5 times, as in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Here's what Moss had to say on Kevin Hart's show. Hands down, I consider myself the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game. That wasn't a shot at Jerry. I still got respect and love for Jerry, but just thought the way that I changed the game of football. Shannon, do you agree with Moss that he is the greatest wide receiver of all time?
No, and I don't think it's close. And I understand I was in the league when Randy got in the league, and I played a number of years with Randy. T.O. also is in the conversation, and I was in the league with Jerry. But Jerry's the GOAT, and it's not even close. Because here's the one thing, and I was having this conversation last night, guys, on Nightcap with Ocho, and Ocho say, forget the numbers. How do we forget the numbers? How do we forget 13-time Pro Bowl, a 10-time All-Pro, 3 Super Bowl wins, a Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year? At 40 years old, the man had 1,200 yards. And the one thing that I can't get past is that Randy Moss once said on live television, I play hard when I want to. We've watched him continuously, numerous times, walk off the ball and not block. You talk about, everybody says, well, Randy Moss got a catch named after him, Moss. Where do you think Yak came from? Where do you think Rat came from? Yards after catch, run after catch. Who you think they put that term in for, guys?
Jerry Rice.
Man, y'all better stop playing with this man, and I understand. And think about it. Jerry played in the era where they knocked Joe Block off.
Hell yeah. I'm going to say this. I think this starts getting into the conversation of measurables and talent versus production, right?
Correct.
Because when people talk about Randy having a catch named after him, that's because Randy was 6'4", right? If you watch Randy highlights in high school, he could jump out the gym. He was 4'3". But the things that Jerry Rice was able to do, which we also have to remember, he didn't play in today's football, Shay Sharp. Jerry Rice played where you ran the ball. Roger Craig and Tom Rathman and all them boys, they got the rock. You know what I'm saying? Like, you played 21 personnel where you had 2 backs, a tight end on the field, and two wide receivers. This was an entirely different game. There weren't these bloated numbers of passing. And look at the longevity. What's the reason that now when you talk about LeBron, it's different? Now, you've always been a LeBron guy. I'm not saying that it's not when he was at his height or at his peak, but it's that his peak has been longer than anyone's peak in the history of basketball.
Yes.
So was Jerry Rice's.
Thank you.
Jerry Rice was able to be good in different uniforms. Jerry Rice was able to be good in different decades. And Jerry Rice, even though they said he ran 4.6 coming out of HBCU, ran past you. He routed you up. When he caught the rock, he was hard to get on the ground and tackle. And so I get Randy from this standpoint. Randy was the scariest thing I ever stood across from.
So you don't think it's close either?
No, I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close in that conversation. This is sort of like having the conversation of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Even though Jerry Rice is more talented at what he did than what we expected or saw Tom Brady as, is that Randy had this immense talent, but Randy ain't do with it what Jerry did with his.
Good.
No. I mean, you think about he has 7,000 more yards. He has 50 more touchdowns. He has 600 more catches. He has seven more Pro Bowls, 6 more All-Pro teams. Come on, people. You look at disregard the numbers. How? It is a numbers game.
I mean, even the number he does have, Randy Moss, single season record, but Moss needed 16 games to break the record. Rice only needed 12.
Yeah, but it's just Jerry Rice Jerry Rice did it in a way that, even though Randy's saying he revolutionized it, actually Jerry did first, right? Randy revolutionized it from the physical standpoint, the physicality in which he played. And I'm not talking about violence. It was just it was so graceful because he was long and he was thin and he could run. But Jerry actually imposed his will on the defender, right? Like Jerry broke people. You went into the game and you knew, man, you know what? Randy might bomb on me today. Like, I got to stay deep. I'm going to back up a little bit. Jerry did it to you in so many ways.
And he's a all-decade player in the 80s and the 90s. In 2 decades. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
There are not a whole lot of guys that's been an all-decade player in 2 decades. And Jerry's been an all-decade player in 2 decades. You just can't deny his numbers. And I'm not saying Randy is not transcendent and historically great. But Jerry's on another level. I can make a case that Jerry is the greatest football player.
That's what I was about
position.
to say. If it wasn't for Tom Brady, we would say there would be many conversations where Jerry Rice was the greatest football player of all time.
That's a debate for another day. Time for a quick take. In the Christmas Eve afternoon slate, the surging Bucks, who have won 3 straight games, take on the slumping Jags, who have lost 3 in a row. And like the Buccaneers, though, the Jags control their own destiny as the team seek division titles and playoff berths. So, Shannon, who are you more confident in to win their division, the Jags or the Bucks?
Well, I'm going to take the Bucks because they play in a weaker division, and Baker Mayfield has played well over the last month of the season. And I think possibly Trevor Lawrence is going to miss this game because he is in concussion protocol, and C.J. Beathard would be the starting quarterback. So with that alone, I think I'm going to take the Bucks to win the division.
All right, it's time for the sportsbook predictions, and let's start with you, Bart. Would Dak throw more or less than 274.5 yards against the Dolphins?
I'm going to go less because I think it's both teams are going to try and establish the run. With that being said, it's going to limit the possessions, and I think that both teams are going to try and establish the run. So I'll go with less, thinking that the Dolphins are going to control the time of possession because they're going to continue to get first down.
Well, I'm going to disagree because, I have a degree in atmospheric science, and the conditions are going to be pretty ideal. 77 with some wind. And the Cowboys can't run the football, Bart. So I think they're going to be forced to throw the football, and I understand they have those great corners in Miami. But I think I'm going to take him slightly over. I'm going to take him slightly over 274.5.
Okay, only one can be right.
All right, Bart. Will Amon-Ra St. Brown have more or less than 77.5 receiving yards against the Vikings?
Definitely more. I don't care what the defense is. They find ways to get him on different levels, on drag routes and under routes. So he's going to eat, and I love his run after the catch. Laporta opens a lot of that stuff up because he's able to take the safeties and linebackers away, and he's able to run underneath and eat.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm not very impressed. I mean, Danielle Hunter, the only way you can stop this is to put pressure on the quarterback, and I'm not sure they can do that consistently. So I'm going to agree with you, Bart. I think he has over that number.
There's more like it, Shannon. Teamwork makes the dream work.
All right, last one. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3. Bart, will Mike Evans have more or less than 66.5 receiving yards against the Jaguars?
More. Mike Evans is a walking bucket. I mean, I think we have to start really paying attention to what he's been able to do every year, 1,000 yards, and considering the type of quarterback that he's had. Baker Mayfield looks to him, and he's going to feed him the ball in rhythm, in time, and he's just such a dynamic route runner, and his catch rate is tremendous, definitely over 66 yards.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Mike Evans has had a phenomenal season, and I think, with Tyreek and some of these other guys coming on the scene, we don't give Mike Evans, like you said, Bart, we don't give him the credit, the love and respect, and the adulation that he deserves for being one of the top receivers in this game for such an extended period of time. I definitely believe he's going over 66 plus.
Yeah, and he's gone over his receiving yards prop in 5 of 6 home games this season. Are you done with your Christmas shopping, Bart? Because you're done with us right now.
Yeah, I'm Gucci. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that banana cognac from Unc Shay Shay so I can give it to Pop so he can be passed on accounts by
I don't know
halftime.
if you can get that express shipping, though, in time for Christmas.
Well, I do have an Amazon DSP, so you know what I'm saying? I know some people that can get that to me.
Marketing deals do you have?
Hey, when they start paying me that Shay Shay money, then I'll get one job.
ESPN deferred my money, Bart, like they did Shohei. So
you get paid 2030?
Yeah, I'll start getting paid till 2030, bro.
And they gonna hold on to the interest too.
Tune into the Bart and Hahn Show from 12 to 3 on ESPN Radio.
We saving Jets and Giants fans from jumping off the cliff, man.
Merry Christmas.
We doing God's work.